So, I'll be the first to admit that I wouldn't necessarily consider myself to be a believer in any kind of paranormal activity. I used to get super anxious about it as a kid because of all the religious upbringing, but I genuinely haven't thought twice about it in years. However, a few really strange occurrences have me pretty spooked. I don't know if this is the right place to go for this, but here I go. First, about 2 weeks ago, I woke up with a fingerprint-shaped bruise on the back of my leg. Didn't take pictures and thought nothing of it at the moment. Other than that, it was a bit weird. It was super dark, but didn't hurt, and I couldn't remember ever getting it. My partner pointed it out after I got out of bed one morning. It looked like someone had grabbed me really hard. A few days later, I started getting terrible headaches. They always seem to get worse at night. I've never even had a migraine, but it was enough to cause me to make a doctor's appointment. But doctor says nothing is wrong. On top of this, I started feeling really uneasy about going to sleep. I work full-time and I'm in school full-time, so I am pretty exhausted and usually don't have much trouble falling asleep. But it seems like the second I lay down, I'm hit with a feeling of dread or fear, like something is around me, and just feel like I'm out of my own body. I developed super deep purple dark circles under my eyes, even though I've still been getting enough sleep, and also extremely chapped lips for no apparent reason. Last night, this morning, really put me over the edge. My partner and I have a cat. She's usually really good about using the litter box, but ended up peeing outside of it. This has never happened before. We realized this after trying to get to bed, but there was an awful smell. Came to the conclusion that it was cat pee and cleaned it up. The cat has been acting weird for a few weeks. She meows at everything, super skittish, and hides a lot even though she's a very social, friendly cat. My partner has started to worry about her. Constant meows, cries. Last night was even worse. She was even more skittish last night, which seemed odd. Eventually we decided to go to bed. I'll spare the details, but I have a certain device that has a detachable head. My partner took it apart, put it in our nightstand drawer, and we went to bed. This morning my partner woke up to go to work from home, and went right to the office. I got up and went to the bathroom and saw the detachable part of the device sitting on the bathroom counter. I knew I saw my partner put it away in the drawer, but thought she may have moved it or something. I didn't say anything to her, but she eventually asked me if I had moved it to the bathroom floor. I told her I hadn't, but that I had seen it sitting on the counter. I definitely hadn't moved it to the floor. She said she didn't move it, and I definitely know I did not. The cat is way too chunky to jump up to our tall bathroom counter if she somehow got a hold of it. The drawer of the nightstand is super hard to get open. The entire nightstand almost falls over if the drawer comes out even a little bit too far, so I don't think either of us could have accidentally done it in our sleep. Compounding this, we both talked about how uneasy we felt last night. I was super on edge, and something just seemed even more off than usual. My partner, who never feels this way, felt it too. I feel absolutely crazy for being concerned, and everyone I know has told me to just let it go, or that there's an explanation for it all. Despite the reassurance from my friends and family, I'm feeling super wary of the situation, if you could even call it a situation. I've never really dealt with things moving randomly, or had strange physical symptoms pop up out of nowhere. I'm super shaken up, even if it's small. I would love to hear everyone else's thoughts. Am I looking too far into things? Do I have any reason to think something's odd going on? And could it be paranormal? Any input, opinions, similar experience would be appreciated. When I was a child, I struggled a lot with sleepwalking and sleep paralysis. For the first couple of times, I never saw anything scary, surprisingly. The last 2 times, I never got it though. I saw things I can see clearly in my mind to this day. It's not necessarily disturbing, but as a kid, it scared the shit out of me. One night, my sister came in to sleep with me since she had a nightmare and didn't want to wake anyone else up. When we fell asleep, I soon got sleep paralysis. I tried moving my toes and fingers, anything. Tried to look around and noticed my sister wasn't in my bed anymore. When I actually woke up, she still was. We were laying side by side, but in sleep paralysis, I was in the center of the bed. I looked over to my closet and couldn't look away. I got a gut feeling of dread. A huge tall shadow person opened the closet door with the black stuff spilling out into the room like it was water. It was coming towards me. I tried to scream for help. I was so desperate to get away from it. It came up to my face, leaning down to look at me from the side, then the top, then the other side of my face. I forgot exactly what happened after that, but everywhere I could move my eyes, the black face was there, getting closer and closer. The silence was the worst part. For some reason, I never told anyone about it, except for my sister, later when I could comprehend what sleep paralysis was. The last night was a weird one. The same thing happened as before. I tried to move my toes and fingers to break out of it. I looked over to my door and it was open with the light on in the hallway. So I had some light. Like the closet door before, I couldn't look away from the doorway. I got a feeling of dread. Then my friends appeared out of thin air sitting at the chess table in the doorway. I watched them play for a couple seconds, wondering who exactly it was and what they were doing in my doorway. Then they all put their fingers up to their mouths to shush me at the same time, and they faded away. Again, I don't remember what happened exactly at the end of it. I am probably missing some details as it was such a long time ago, but I know for the fact that they were not a dream. But it disturbed me for a long time. Even though the last time wasn't that scary, it was just weird. To this day, I can't talk about it without getting chills. But after that, I never had it again. Anyone have similar experiences? So I'm going to make this as short as I can. I just moved in with my best friend about a month ago in his apartment. He has been here for 4 years, and I have stayed here for a few nights in the past. I was very tired being I didn't get much sleep the night before, so I decided to take a nap on the couch. I was there by myself and planned on sleeping for a couple hours. Well, just a few minutes after falling asleep, I woke up only to find myself not being able to move. I was already familiar with this feeling because it has happened to me a few years ago. However, this time was different. When I woke up, I felt sick to my stomach, kept hearing noises inside the apartment. I couldn't move a single muscle. I fell back asleep, which was the only thing I could do. I was eventually awakened by my roommate. After telling him what had happened to me, he told me that it's happened to him on that same couch a handful of times. So really, I'm just looking for someone's advice. Should we just throw the couch away? Is it the couch itself haunted? I never want to feel that feeling again. A real quick story that happened tonight. I was in my room on my bed when my brother walked in. He was asking about MLB TV and how to get it so we could watch some baseball together. I said we need your computer to sign up and get it going. By the way, blackouts fucking suck ass. We went downstairs and set it up. It seemed to have worked, so went back to my room. About 10 minutes later, he walked in my room complaining it didn't work on his PC, and I told him that's the blackout bullshit. He got pissed about it and walked out. But that's the scary part for me. When I watched him walk out, I seen a kind of solid, kind of transport mask go by his head when he shut the door in my room. It just made it through. It wasn't smoke because it was a whole entity together, but it was fast and faded quickly, like it didn't want to be trapped outside of my room for the night. Is it a ghost? By the way, I live in a 100-plus-year-old home. Hey, I'm around 13 years old, and I wanted to share my very strange night with you. So first off, I think you should know, I live in a 3-bedroom house with my family of 6, not including my cat. So I sleep on a mattress in my 2 little sisters' room, just until we have enough money to move from this house. So last night, my little sister 9 asked to sleep on the mattress, which is a very strange request. So I asked her if she peed or anything. She said no. I decided to let her sleep on the bed, so I went and got ready to go to sleep. It's 12:45 a.m. Now, my cat comes in like he usually does. He's a year old now, and he played for like 5 minutes. And I lay down and tried to sleep, when suddenly he tried to get my attention. I get up, not even a second later to see him jumping on the closet door, hissing and scratching and panicking. I watch him for a minute or two, and I get up and turn on the light, and then open my closet door. He goes in hissing and jumping more. Then, all of a sudden, he just calms down and sits watching something fly around. Remember a second ago he was in a panic state, and so was I. But now he's calm watching something. I wait a little, and I grab him. I close the door and grab a blanket and run out of my room. My mom was doing her regular checks, making sure everyone was okay. When she saw me, she asked what's wrong. I told her, but I don't think she believes me. I slept on the couch, but now I know why my sister didn't want to sleep there. I'm scared, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Help me. Please, anyone experience something like this? If you have, what would you do? Me and my family are Muslim, and we have evil eyes on our front door. A while ago, one broke, but there still was more. And we always say a type of prayer that's supposed to warn spirits and evil entities to leave. Please help me. I'm crying and I'm scared. When I was 7 to 8, I woke up and came straight downstairs as I was seeing black dots around my room. Obviously, in a state of panic, I cried into my mother's arms, and after half an hour of sitting on the couch, she went to get some paracetamol, as she thought I was hallucinating. But while she was in the kitchen, 3 to 4 Victorian men in their late 60s, early 70s were standing in a line facing me, dressed with a top hat. It wasn't a tall top hat, nor a small one, almost medium-sized, and a pocket watch. Cigar smoke around them almost like a haze. 3 of the 2 of them were short, then the last one was taller, and they didn't open their mouths to talk to me, but told me telepathically to go home. This wasn't scary. They didn't have an intense feeling attached to them, but it was almost a neutral feeling. I've seen a lot of ghost spirits growing up, but they've all been in the same period, from like 1830 to 1920. So not sure if that means anything. My mom's friend thinks I'm clairvoyant, but I'm not sure. What do you think? Yes, you see ghosts like I do. When I was 11, a year after I went to this haunted beach house, I made a Reddit post about that. I noticed a lot of things happening around me. I noticed the lights in my room would turn on and off at the most random times, like 4 in the morning. Another thing is I would hear voices calling out for me, and just a lot of paranormal activity in general. But I remember this one night in particular. I woke up around 2 to 4 a.m. That isn't really unusual for me if I wake up randomly. That usually means something is watching me. Does anyone have that too? Anyways, moving on. I tried to get back to sleep, but I couldn't. I sat up, and I looked to my left. There was a tall shadow figure staring at me. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I quickly turned my head forward, and there was this shadow figure that looked like a girl, and behind her was another taller, skinnier shadow figure. I looked away and looked at my mirror. I was in shock. I counted about 6 to 7 shadow figures looking at me. Then finally, I started to panic and yelled for my parents. When I did that, all the shadow figures stayed until my parents entered the room. I explained everything to my parents, but they didn't believe me. I went to the room and slept there for a night. Now, I don't see any of those shadow figures today, but at times I would see a shadow figure by my hallway. I honestly do not know what to do. Does anyone else have a similar experience? And what should I do because similar things still happen?